I can't believe we're already doing a second, well, technically third one of these. I'm the GM for the show, Erik Frankhouse. You guys probably remember us from our first and second episode. If you haven't seen them, you can check the replays out on our YouTube channel, or they're still on Twitch for maybe another 15 days before they get boarded off. But without further ado, let me introduce our two players for today. We have Everston and Nora, or Todd and Kelly. You can see the art that kind of pops up now that Todd has done for the characters. We're going to be doing some in-between scenes. The point of the side quest is exactly that. We want to show moments that are they're not on screen. Those in-between deeper character moments, or maybe just really one-on-one character moments, are building pieces of the story that we don't have time to do during our live stream. So today, that's what we're going to be doing. We picked these two because the last two we did with Voss and Oliver, and we figured we should maybe try the other two. Nora's already done a test run when I was trying to figure out how to set this stuff up. When we did the Blue Demon stuff, which you saw a little bit of that in our second episode. Fuck your suspenders, by the way.
You're the one who gave them to me, man. Like, I don't know what you were expecting.
I just thought they'd be cool. Then they happened during that scene. I was like, dang it. But
I still feel like it was cool. Like, just like,
it was cool. It was a great scene. It actually was. So today we're going to be not really too far ahead of our second episode. We're going to be taking place where the tides have washed out of Merriweather, and now the crew and all the people who have come over for the Emerald Order that are getting ready to kind of clean up this place, give ghosts their proper homes, spirits their proper homes, and rebuild Merrifield if it can be rebuilt, are now making their way through the city, checking things out. But what a lot of the people don't know and especially I don't think anyone who's watched the show knows, is that Everston actually has deeds to a manor here. The manor here, unfortunately, is under a magical protection. No one's been able to get in yet. They can't open the gate. They can't climb over. It's almost like an impenetrable wall of force. They believe it's actually haunted. That is what Voss has come up with since being back. So they've turned to the garage, and this garage is a ginormous barn that is being used by, or was used by, the Everston family, building farm equipment, other Automas, and so on before the starfall happened and crushed a crater and Akata swarmed the place and all the bad stuff that people are going to find out. So we do have a map and all that kind of stuff for the adventure, but for today, we're going to start the scene in the barn, and I will take us over to a barn map here. Let me get us to that. Everston, how much does he actually know about his family's place? Does he remember anything after being in Automas?
He has a few memories. He still has the drive that he had when he was alive, like for continuing the work that the family produced. Details are lost. You know, when you're a soul ripped from, you know, your body when you die, and then you're put in this reliquary for however many years he's been stuck in it, and now he's in this mechanical body. Like, it takes a lot out of you, from what I understand. So like he's not fully returned to like complete, like it's not just like he flipped a switch and like he was a human, now he's a robot. Like it's a completely different circumstance, and he's slowly learning back all of his memories. Like he knows who he is, and he knows what family he's from and what they did, but he doesn't have like the details. It's like if someone told you who you were instead of experiencing it for yourself. So he knows he's here to rebuild, and he does want to rebuild. He doesn't know. He couldn't find the secret stuff he hid as a kid in the walls or whatever. You know?
Yeah, when you don't remember how old you were, do you?
Yeah. He was. I think he was like middle age when he passed, but now he's immortal. Without.
He is definitely immortal. And Nora, during Merriweather being kind of brought back to the resurgence of Merriweather, bringing it back to life, what has Nora been doing? Because we're doing that 2 weeks of downtime, and this is taking place whenever we want to plug that in during those 2 weeks.
Okay,
so this is after episode 2.
After episode 2, the ship is moved back in. Repairs are beginning. The dark tides are washed out of the city. The devastation left from the Whisper firing its gun line past the tower. The whole north side of the city is just wrecked. Now, I had not prepared for that. And that means that north side of the city is going to have to be repaired. So I've added some other things now on the list. Like you've lost going around looking for this place. The two of you would know the inn is gone. The bar is gone. The blacksmith is destroyed. The 2 water towers in the town, one of them is knocked over. The other one is leaking from around. The council area and the True Faith Temple that was here is shot down. And then all of the, like, I don't want to say business, but like the business with living above, almost all of that has been destroyed by the gun line, or damaged, if not destroyed. And then there's a bunch of places to live where there's no people to live in them. So that's kind of the situation.
We're not move-in ready yet. Not by a long time.
I don't know. This is like tenement housing now. Like, it's pretty beat up and messed up. Like, it's not good.
It's just a fixer-upper.
It's a fixer-upper. So with that,
what's that?
Exorcisms. Yep. So with that, we're going to start in one of the many barns on the real estate outside of the fenced-in area of the Everston Manor. This one specifically was for doing large farm equipment, and as you guys have arrived in here, had to be searching or sweeping through the city, seeing what's what. Everston's probably going through most of the estate that you're not locked out of. This one particularly, in the very back corner where between the barrel and the bags of grain that are now rotten and shot. Hanging there, there is a Automas body, just the upper half. Part of the right arm is taken apart, like the armor off it is pulled off, and you can see all of the strands that are used. The engine is still intact, and Voss has looked at it a couple times. He thinks he can get it back up and running, and he has got it at least speaking, but not great. It definitely has some problems with full sentences and keeping conversation, but it can answer basic questions and answer things about maybe what have happened. It's rusted out. And, yeah, there is a soul in it. It is rusted out, and it is missing. It's missing like its ocular ability out of the right-hand side and the arm. You can see that part was under repair. You don't see the legs anywhere. Voss has been trying to find them because he said this would be a lot easier if he could. But it's hanging there, and it is operating, just not all intact. So we'll start that scene at the back. If you would like, you can drag your tokens and stick them in the back over here where I pinged. Right here. And you should be able to drag your characters. We'll resize them if we need to. Mostly just placement, so when we're in the scene, we know where everybody is. And the barn is very large, so Everston, you'll have no problems moving around in here or doing anything.
That's good.
You should pretty. This is built for Automas. Like this whole the barn doors, the side doors, even the windows are large enough that if you had to, you could probably crawl through them.
Oh, I like it.
So,
spending a lot of time
with that. I'm gonna put just a picture here for you, so that we can have a representation for the robot. And the Automas has responded a few times. He has answered questions, and he was originally a piece of farm equipment for chopping grain and loading silos. That was his original job. Anything that the two of you would like to discuss? This is a good time for the group to find out things about probably the city, really, is your downtime actions before, we take it to live or do anything in our text downtime.
I mean, so Inspector Tenwick is an investigator, and it might seem a little weird for her to be out in a desolated town like this, but sometimes the reason she's hired is to figure out exactly how something or someone died, so that it makes it a little bit easier for them to be properly bound in a reliquary versus having them struggle against it and struggle against their fate. Like trying to help them resolve whatever happened to make it easier for everybody involved to
definitely asking them is easier than forcing them.
Yeah. Or at least being able to piece together if they're too mad to figure out what's going on and giving them that sort of piece. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why she's here. That's what she's kind of been doing in her downtime, is like, all right, obviously things went south. A lot of people died, but if there's anyone or anything out there that's like super crazy and needs to kind of be put to rest, she can at least pull some things together so that when the true faith shows up, or whoever, Federer, trying to make their job a little easier. So I think she might have gone with Everston because if the manor is haunted, maybe she can bring her skills to bear to help him figure out why.
Sure. Are you then starting a case with this Automas that is hanging in the room?
Yeah,
or in the barn?
So. I think this would be pursuing a lead.
Okay.
All right,
so
for 10 minutes to try and.
It takes 10 minutes to do it?
No, it's 1 minute. Oh, I apologize.
So you take your minute, pull out your notes, start getting things together, and this place has got the big rafters. There's a lot of chains with farm implements hanging that are in mid-repair. There is a wagon in the back corner that is full of foodstuffs that are now rotten. The side rooms that you have looked through, originally probably for animals to stay in when they had animals in here. But in the back area, there are a couple of books have been found from someone who's reading them. They're not in the best condition. The tides have oil sheened a lot of it. Some of it's hard to read. And those are probably laying around the area as well. The Automas raises his head as you kind of start the beginning of your investigation with him. And he says that his name is Roger. He has been working for the Everstons for the last 10 years. Damages came to me when beasts came from the crater and through the fields. We lost our crops that summer. I was damaged pretty severely, and some of the other farm hands of the Everstons were unfortunately killed. They have been working to repair me, but I think they have forgotten. And he would ask, what year is it?
Like, how is... I know that Voss has been working on this Automas for a while, a little bit. I mean, since we've been here. Would he have had any insight as to how stable Roger's personality is?
The soul's stable. It is fettered properly, fettered well. He thinks True Faith actually fettered it. The personality part, there are some damages from the tides from being submerged from so long that the soul has began to forget some of its memories. The Automas is pretty old, though, like the actual craftsmanship of itself. He says it's maybe a first or second series that was built when Automas started being made.
Yeah, and I can confirm that he's got to be pretty new because, old. One of the first ones, because the Everstons haven't been around for a couple of decades now.
Yeah,
So he's probably been here a while.
Okay.
Yeah, he says he didn't remember a lot. It was dark for a long time.
Well, the reason I was asking was because I don't want Nora to say, "Oh, it's 50." I think we're in 57.
Yep, 57 AS after the Sunburn. Correct.
She doesn't want to be like, "Oh, we're in 57," and he just like flips out and starts lashing out, right? So that's more like why she was asking, like why I should have asked Voss. Like when I talked to this gentleman, how stable is he? So when Roger asks, like, how, what year is it? Nora would just look at him and I think with a little bit of sympathy in her eyes to say, it's 57 AS.
Oh, well, it's been 20 years since my damages, or that doesn't seem right. The Akata didn't show up that long ago. And the beast from the crater, that's only 8 years. So, probably 4 years ago, I was still working the land here for the Everstons, which does not line up.
Okay.
That doesn't seem right. Unless he's just been on his own.
Well, and the comet fall that happened that struck the area in New Boulevard and kind of streamed across and cut a line. It hit that and a bunch of other villages and cities, and this is one of the ones that hit towards the end when it impacted, because the big comet that came in shed off little ones, and this big one is what hit next to Merrifield. There is no way that 4 years ago he was up and running, working for the Everstons. He may have been up and running, but he would not still be working for the Everstons. As far as you know, it's been about 20 years. And he says, that's what I remember. He said, do you have my legs anywhere so that I could begin work again?
I apologize, Roger. We have not come across your legs or any legs that could be used as replacements yet. There's been a lot of damage done to Merrifield, and we're in the process of assessing it.
There are large wagons that we used to move machinery. Could you maybe bring a wagon in? I could easily push myself around. Well, you might have to push me. I might know where my legs are. They were in this barn at one point in time. And he's scoured. You guys have scoured. You haven't found him anywhere, but there are boxes and stuff like that you haven't gone through. I mean, there's a lot of places to cover.
I think that's the first thing Everston wants to do is just sort of take note, like go through everything, organize, take inventory, see what's here, what needs to be thrown out, what can be salvaged. He wants to get this place up and running again.
So if you're going to start looking through this place and searching, and I'm assuming you're just taking time, you're not actually going to roll. You're not looking for secrets. You're just looking like for big objects and things like that.
Sure.
Or are you doing like a deep
dive?
All right.
No, we'll just cleaning house for now, and then this
so
pile,
if you're doing the clean house,
it's thrown out. This pile gets cleaned. This pile gets reorganized.
Gotcha.
This pile gets donated. Whatever
it gets donated to Voss's scrap collection.
So I feel like Everston's like time to clean house is like just marking things for, like you said, like sorting
just a
them
big piece of
what,
chalk.
What gets trashed or whatever. And I think internally, like I'm screaming a little bit because you are ruining the crime scene. Like this may not actually be a crime scene, but whatever's blocking the people from entering the manor could possibly be here. And Everston's just like breaking apart crates and stuff. And I think Nora's like trying to do that deep dive and she can't.
That's super funny. So if that's the case, then why don't you give me a perception check, Everston, as you're like going through and organizing all the crates and sorting things out and getting them ready to go. Why don't you give me a roll for what you can find in the area? Maybe some memories spark, because I'm assuming part of Everston being here is trying to get some of his memories back as well.
That's math.
It is math.
22.
22. So looking around in the back room, you did find those journals, but in these crates that are in the southwest part of the room, there are some bigger pieces that are Automas replacement parts, because this is originally made. There's a center line that runs through with chains, kind of so you can slide them back and forth to what you're guessing different positions used to exist. But you can tell that this place has not been damaged by the gunfire from the Whisper, but it has been scavenged numerous times. And pieces are missing. And some of these boxes you open, there are like bolts and screws and metal plates for some of the Automas builds. No legs, no arms, nothing like that. And when you open up one of the smaller boxes, like moving big ones that normal people could not move, that only an Automas could really drag around, you find a small group of packages in the back. And in those, they are lined or numbered 1 through 5. And they have the True Faith stamp on them. Do you have any knowledge on True Faith at all, or would that have to be Nora?
I don't think I am trained in religion.
You can always roll to recall knowledge without. I mean, you are able to do that if it's nothing big. They aren't an odd package. You might have seen them before.
No problem. 9.
A 9, yeah, you don't know what they are. And their boxes are maybe like this big. Bring them out to Nora?
Sure.
All right. So Nora, you're talking to Roger. What was that?
Oh my god.
These may be
and you took them out of the... Of course you took them out of the crate. Okay. She just kind of sighs and tries to find a clean spot in the barn to take a look at them.
Yeah, on the backside of that wall, there'd be like a little table you could use.
Yeah.
Or like a bench, a workbench,
Let's see what I've got here.
All the tools for this place have been gone. Like, thankfully, you guys brought the toolkits, because the first thing I would tell you all is there's no tools. They've all been taken.
Let's see. Check. Okay.
Gotta love car alarms.
That's not much better. I got a 15.
Only needed a 12.
Okay.
Looking at them, you know that these are what the True Faith ship back when they have fettered a spirit to a relic. They ship them back from Cadra or New Bolivar or wherever they're done from, back to the family. Sometimes it's animals, sometimes it's people, but they are fettered and filled reliquaries.
These packages are?
Yep. Fettered and filled. Roger sees them and he goes, "Oh, more, huh?"
Or what?
These
People who passed. The family always fettered anyone who died that worked for them and had them shipped back. Surprised they're still in boxes, though.
Well, it says, Roger says they are, I'm assuming, filled reliquaries, fettered with whatever animals or spirits your family might have sent. Was there a...
Oh, I'm not a family member. I used to work for them.
Well,
originally, I was the butler, I think. Then I got... something happened, and then I was put into an Automas body and put as one of the lead farm hands for gathering grain and crop for the silo. I was a butler before that. I don't remember what happened.
Well, my apologies, Roger. Family, animals, or staff that they wanted to ensure that they would be fettered properly. Everston, can you show me the crate that you found these in?
Yeah, and I'll point it out to her.
So it would be in the other room to the left of you all, when that pile of crates are at.
Okay.
And there's one big crate, and then behind that crate, you actually slid it away. There were a bunch of small packages, like crammed in a corner that, unless you moved everything, you wouldn't be able to get to it. Whoever scavenged didn't dig far enough to find packages that are this big.
And they weren't like big enough, strong enough to push the...
Right. Yeah, that big crate that he's moving probably weighs half a ton. It's just full of like solid metal sheets for like reforming armor and farm equipment.
Okay. So the
It should be placed in an area of honor, not packed away like plaything.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that they were stored where they were. Otherwise, those creatures we fought might have gotten their hands on them. I'm sorry, where'd you say they were, Eric? I was on
back there, where you're at, right there.
Taking notes. Okay. The reason I'm looking for the smaller package, or like the smaller crate it might have been, is I'm looking for like a shipping manifest that hopefully wasn't destroyed while sitting down here forever.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, you can give me a perception check, try to find some form of manifest or something that's in here if it hasn't been taken or ruined by tides being in here for years.
Right. I'm not going to add my pursue a lead bonus in any of these rolls unless I specifically think it's to help with figuring out why this place is haunted, and then I'll let you know if I'm adding that.
Sure. Fair.
In this case, it didn't matter. I got a 24.
So looking around, you find what the envelope would be that the packing slip was probably on the outside of, which is one of the larger boxes at the top of the stack. And you pull it out, and it just starts to crumple.
Okay.
Or actually more like tear, like wet paper.
So the envelope itself, is that more of a sturdier material?
Yeah, it's waxed.
Inside?
It's wax sealed, but it looks like it was filled with tides for a while. You could probably cut it open and maybe read it. You have to be pretty delicate, but you could give it a shot.
No, what I want to do is, since we do have a Mancer on board back at the Whisper, and we do have a lot of alchemical supplies that we were able to pick up, I want to just take the actual envelope.
Okay, so you untack it from the box off the nails.
Yeah, I'm hoping that keeping it in the envelope will help prevent more damage from being done, and then I can give it to someone who might be able to help me read it.
There are tons of people running about. You could even have them bring stuff here if you wanted to not move it from the scene. If you want like a forensics kit or anything like that. Or you can have Voss come here and look at it if you want him to do something.
Yeah, I guess I would ask for Voss, like, because my forensics kit has stuff to help prevent, like, to take measurements and get fingerprints and whatever, and maybe help some sort of degradation, but I don't think there's anything in here that's gonna help prevent things tearing apart because they've been soaking in dark tides for who knows how long. So
and it's something he deals with.
I would get
Where? I
Voss
have-
or someone in here to
I have his
get
character
this
sheet,
kid.
so...
Okay.
So while you guys are talking to Roger, he'll take 10 minutes to look over it and see what magics he can do to fix it. Or do you want to wait the 10 minutes and see what information comes from that before you go back to Roger?
I think after giving Voss like a stern warning to, talking to about making sure not to ruin anything, because in our session, our pre-session that we had before we started streaming, like when he went to go start picking up those bugs, Nora was going to start yelling at him like, don't disturb the crime scene, what are you doing? So she's having like a little conversation with him like, don't disturb anything, just see if you can get this cleaned up so we can read it, but don't touch anything, don't move anything, like, and then
I got it.
Look with your
And,
eyes,
like,
not
waves
with your
you
hand.
off. Yeah, he waves you off, and immediately he just like takes a knife and drags it across the cover of the envelope and tears the envelope cover off as you're like going into the other room.
oh my god.
Then you hear magic go off, so he's obviously doing something with magic to like clean it and hopefully get it into a working order. He's like, yeah, 10 minutes. So Roger in the other room has swung himself far enough over to rest himself on the barrel. He is looking through a pile of screws and bolts. He hasn't disconnected himself from the chains on the ceiling, but he's definitely moved himself over and he's going through everything. And he finds like a lens and something else, and it looks like he's repairing his eye with like an oversized lens. And he's like, oh, so much better. I can see again. So
I'm sorry, I was unaware that you could not see. I
well,
apologize.
the
I would
eye
have
that's
asked
in
Fox.
isn't functioning. This one I could see, but it was blurry. I had no lens. You're quite blown up, though. If you could step back a couple feet.
I will step back. I don't want to make this Automas start puking dark tides all
No,
over.
yeah. Oh, God, that'd be great. He says, he's like, so is there anything I can do to help you? I feel like my job has always been service. Is there any service that I can do to help you?
Any information you have about this building would be of use, but we will restore you. You're too valuable to be left for scrap.
Well, thank you, and I would like to be restored. I have, this is the barn that Automas were built in. I believe that, what was his name? I believe that Bennett and, Gregory and... Oh, I can never remember the little girl's name. She wasn't here often, but they used to play in this barn a lot when they were younger. As they grow older, Bennett left for a long time, came back, and then Gary took over the day-to-day activities as one of the lead farmhands. He passed, unfortunately, and then by the time I had left being a butler and took over this position, this barn was kind of decommissioned other than for repairs. And even then, very infrequently in the last, 8 years or so, was anyone here to repair. There was a traveling person who used to remember this farm. He would show up once in a while. He kept me running while I was still tending to the fields. What was his name? I can't remember the name of him. He grew up in Merrifield, but doesn't live here anymore. He says it's too dangerous to live here. Is it that bad?
Well, I mean, between the Akata attack,
Yes, that was quite unfortunate.
there have also been some strange ghouls here that seem to perhaps live in peace or some sort of like relationship with the Akata. We ran into some of those.
There hasn't been ghouls. The civilians that live in Merrifield are still here. They live in their homes still. Some of them, of course, have passed and become spirits, but other ones are walking around. They don't look well kept, though. Want to give me a investigation check, Kelly?
Yeah, I think that would be perception.
Yeah, with the clues that you've been given.
Yeah. And I feel like if he's sitting here saying, yeah, people still walk around, and I mean, some of them passed and whatever, like, I feel like this might be a clue into figuring out why this place is haunted. So
Sure.
I got 28.
So, looking around at the city, since you guys have been here for a little bit of time, searching for the last 2 weeks, if he is talking about Gary being who the lead farmhand was, and he took over that spot when he got the Automas body, obviously Gary must have passed. But the people roaming around, he might be talking about the ghouls, because they are probably old, people who lived in this city, in this village. I mean, well, no, it's a city, in this city. And on top of that, really, if those things are undead, they probably don't want much to do with an Automas.
Can't eat him. Can't really kill him.
No, and Nora, I'm assuming you've investigated at this point the bodies that have been drained. They all have puncture wounds in them, like big holes, and they were sucked dry of their blood.
Okay.
And that's not something Akata do. That's not Akata standard.
Well, I mean, I figure between that, like, Roger might think that, like you said, Roger might believe that the ghouls are the neighbors and the townspeople, which could be act. Also, the fact that his eye wasn't working, it's not like he could really see them.
Correct.
So, I'm like, well, how long has your ocular, your eye? Sorry, I'm just. If you're gonna default
fine.
on
No, I understand. Ocular is fine.
how long has that been malfunctioning?
I don't remember losing my legs. I remember my arm getting damaged when one of the grain elevators, one of the hanging pieces of armor that I had, got stuck and it ripped that off. I don't remember losing my eye. It must have happened when I was in here. Maybe waiting for repairs. Actually, that would make the most sense. I had really good vision, and I had the ability to magically see when tides were coming in, basically to tell people to get out of the fields if something was happening. But without the eye, I can't do that anymore.
So this eye, the ocular that you had that was broken.
Yes,
it let you see the tides. Did it let you see anything else, like?
Well, I could see within them. So, like, when moving out of the tides that they roamed in and the farmhands were leaving, I was gathering gear. I could pick all the gear up and see within the tides, which is not a normal thing. It gave me a good bit of vision, probably 30 to 60 feet. True Faith made it. It was quite expensive. I remember the Everstons arguing about the price of it and it being worth their money or not. Is this one here from the farm? And he points to Everston.
I will kind of look at Everston and kind of shrug, like, because I don't know. I don't want to assume that Everston wants everyone to know that he's Everston. Like, I want him to have his own autonomy in terms of telling people that are here who he is. Like, we all know on the ship, but I don't want to blow anything for him here if he doesn't want people to know.
And Everston sees another Automas as an equal, so he will be. I'll share with him too.
Yes, I am Everston. I've come to reclaim the home.
Wait, you are Everston. Were you like the soul of the manor? The manor had a soul. Are you the soul from the manor?
No, I am the son of the son of Everston. I am Everston.
Bennett goes, "You're never gonna figure this out, are you?" and you hear the voice in your head perk up. No?
I'll learn in time. Memories are slowly returning, but I know I am Everston, and this is mine.
Bennett's like, it's our home. Oz. I lived there. I lived in one of the wings of the manor. Yeah, come on, man. You gotta remember this. Roger's like, is he okay? He seems distant.
Kind of look at Everston. Does this, like, we haven't really traveled that much, but, like, does this seem normal? Like,
I don't know. How often does it happen to Everston? How often does Bennett click on?
It's up to you, I guess, but he's...
I mean, really, I mean, I would say once a day.
Yeah, if Bennett wants to taunt me or converse or whatever, it's up to him. But I mean, Everston is always in his own head. He's like looking off in the distance because he's still processing whatever memories he has, and he is still trying to figure out his whole background. Really, it's like his information is coming to him. Almost feels secondhand. Like if someone watched a movie and told you all the good bits instead of you just watching it yourself. It's like he's trying to remember his life, but he knows for sure he is Everston. This is his place. He wants to rebuild. He wants to return the family to the glory it once had.
If that's the case, then I think the closer you've gotten to Merrifield, the more frequently Bennett has shown up.
That makes sense. His place
now to where it's like a second person having a conversation with you pretty frequently, and you can see him pacing around within the True Faith engine, or not True Faith, sorry, the Emerald engine. You can see him pacing around in it mentally.
Okay, I guess then, and this is if Todd's okay with it. Can I do like a perception check to see if Everston seems to be talking to someone else? Not because of what's going on with the GM side, but because as an abandoned, abandoned sometimes have like this, like in the description, like sometimes they have spirits of previous lives that might not even be theirs, you know, giving them.
It's going to be hard because he has no facial expressions, but
right, yeah, I know. But it's like, it's kind of like, is this kind of like what I go through sometimes? Like, that's kind of where I'm going with it.
Like, for those that don't know, I will switch camera off really quick for Todd. You'll still be able to hear him, but Everston looks like this. That face doesn't move. It is a porcelain mask. Do your eyes light up at all, Todd? Do they have like a green aura to them or anything?
Yeah, any kind of glowy bits, like the portal that kind of shows his engine and his eyes, they have a green glow to them. Most of the time, the eyes, I think it's more of I think it'll flare up.
They like flicker as you talk or anything?
Emotional flare-ups. Then they'll glow green, but mostly they're pretty neutral. They don't give off
black and hollow.
Right? Yeah, like just.
So yeah, Nora, you can give me a chance on it. It's gonna be hard.
Hard to read them.
I only got.
It's gonna be body language reading more than it is facial expression.
Yeah, I know.
There's no micro expressions in them.
I say I only got a 16.
No, you don't notice anything. He does seem distant, but no more distant than he does when you're flying on the Whisper here. And Roger goes, well, it's good to have another member from the Everston estate here. I wish you the best. What was your job here before? I don't remember seeing you around.
I traveled. I was in the sky quite often, but I'm not sure.
Did you work trade for the Everstons? They had a large trade in shipping and receiving. Usually they use the brass wall rail line, but they did have a few air vessels.
I believe I was a liaison to client?
To who?
Client? It was important.
I believe that's fine. I did not have the privilege to do that. I was either in the house when I was a butler or in the field when I was a farmhand. Well, Everston, do you have keys to the manor? I have not been able to get in there for at least, I don't know, a few decades. It's been locked down.
When I had been fettered as an Automas, which was very recent, and I learned that I was inheriting this place, did I get anything that was like a key to anything physical, or was it just like, hey, you go to this place?
Deed. Just a deed. You do have the 2 boxes you haven't opened yet.
Perhaps I have a key. This is all new. I'm just learning of the estate.
Everston, and Roger, thank you for the information you've given us on the house. If the manor has a spirit bound to it,
Correct.
maybe it will recognize Everston.
Oh,
Could that be the key?
You need either a signet ring or the key to the front gate. I don't think the spirit sees people as you're an Everston by blood. They know it by signification of showing that you belong. For example, when I was the butler, I had keys to certain parts of the house that allowed me in, but anytime you were not in one of those rooms, the doors were locked. If you had a key, you could get in and out, and that was how it worked. If you had a signet ring, that would allow you into certain rooms in the house as well. I, unfortunately, and he holds up like one hand and like picks his other one up that's damaged, don't have any of those anymore. I think as a farm hand, I was not given privileges to the house anymore. So you would definitely need a ring or something along those lines. Maybe there's an Everston somewhere in the city still. Like I said, the people walk around still. They are, like I said, a little disheveled, but they are here.
Voss Calcor warned against entering the mansion. For now, I am content with this workshop. Getting this.
Oh. Well, is this Voss fellow of yours able to fix me?
I mean,
is that the man I've been speaking to?
I kind of snark like, I mean, when he's not ruining crime scenes, yeah.
and sure, he walks out as you say that, and he's like, fuck you, and hands you the paper that's cleaned and good to go.
And I said, I'm not the one who's potentially fucking you, Voss. Let's see.
He walks out the front.
Let's see how that goes when we get back to New Boulevard. And then I kind of shout out, like, you better not break her heart as I go back to read the...
As the beads and stuff that were put in his feathers, like, bounce as he walks away. As he kind of puffs up. So he hands you this sheet of paper. It's clean. It's pretty legible. There are a few lines that are just beyond repair. And you can see he gave you a piece of paper with transcribed notes because he thinks he knows what they are. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. It's like shipping supplies, new metal for forming, Automas armor parts for the field. There are repair pieces for the large tractors that they have here, the soul-bound tractors. Those are in another barn. They also have some for like feed and stock and stuff like that that would come in for the animals that were still here. But this thing is dated like well, it would be 50. If it's 57 AS, this would be dated like 35. And then at the bottom of it, there is a group of them, and it has a true faith, like a broken line. It has a true faith symbol with the hands on the edges. And then there's a stamp as well. And that stamp, is that true faith symbol with the 4 hands around. And then the diamond piece in the middle is shaded in, so it's colored, which it comes from the true faith as a whole, not one of the hands.
Okay.
And it has a list of names tied to the packages they're shipping back, and it says, thank you for using the true faith to make sure that your family members are given a rightful home in their passing. We wish you the best. Remember, on the day of remembrance, you can speak to these family members. And of course, your cat, Calliope. And then the names that go down on them are these. One says Bennett, Everston. One says Lila, Everston. Another one says Gregory, and his last name is Ironsmith. And then obviously there's the fifth one is Calliope.
The cat, very important.
And the fourth one is the one that Voss has written down. He's like, from what he thinks it says, the letters that are left, he believes that it says Tyndall. And the last name is Craigan. Not an Everston name. And that goes 1 through 5. So it goes Bennett, Lila, Gregory, Tyndall, Calliope, 1 through 5.
Okay.
Now, if you want this to be Remembrance Day, we can, or we can just move to Remembrance the following week and do follow-up with those, if that's what you think your next investigation needs to be. Voss, it'll take him some time to repair Roger and get him back up and running. He's probably going to have to order parts and have them brought in if he can't find the leg somewhere in the city.
Okay. Well, I want to investigate.
Okay.
But this is also Everston's home. And I feel like I want to have permission from him before I start grilling his dead family members. So instead, what Nora's going to do is very carefully... she's going to copy down the notes and number down and mark numbers for, who does what in case she does need to go break into an evidence locker later. But whatever. She gives the...
Why not?
Maybe she doesn't give the package to Everston, but she puts them all very gently in a satchel of some sort and says,
"Sure.
If you don't remember much, Everston, it might be worth talking to them on Remembrance Day. I mean, with your permission, I would like to talk to them after you maybe have had a chance to reach out, just to see if they might know why the house is shut, the manor has been shut down the way it is. But if you're having issues remembering, they might be able to help."
And you could do that there's 2 Remembrance, in our downtime. So one could be tomorrow and then one could be the following week. If you want to use those scenes during this, 100% fine with that. This is a side quest about discovering things for Everston and Nora in Merrifield. So if you guys want to use those scenes, we 100% could do that. And they won't take away really from your downtime days.
Yeah.
If you feel that will shed light on what you were looking into, go right ahead. I do have some things to take care of here.
You can tell, Everston's he's not quite ready to unlock the info, I guess you'd say. He's focusing on the task. He wants to fix this place. That's number 1 in his head right now.
Okay. And Bennett would say, "There's no way my name is on there. At least if it is, I ain't in there."
Those folks might not even be what's listed.
Ooh,
it's been a long time.
I remember Lila. We played with her when she was younger. Gregory, that guy was a prick. He never let us do anything that we wanted. He claimed that the great ironsmith, some dead keeper, was he's a direct descendant of him. I do remember that. I hated that guy. Other than that, I don't remember anything. This Roger fellow, he was the butler. Fuck him too, by the way.
Since I am not privy to any of this,
nope.
I will probably wait to talk to them until we're on the ship, where I can have a more controlled environment and not getting jacked by ghouls or whatever. But I would take 1 day of remembrance to talk to them. and see what I find out.
Let's do that. Is there anything else in this area that any of you want to discuss with Roger before we swap over to the next day and we can set the scene for where Remembrance is going to be?
No, I'll just reassure Roger, like, he's a priority. We'll get him fixed up.
Okay.
But other than that,
Roger's like, well, I would greatly appreciate that. I do really miss being able to walk. I feel like it's been some time, especially now that you've told me how long I've been hanging here. And you're saying that the city is in disrepair. I would love to walk once again. Maybe your friend Voss can put me in the wagon and at least roll me wherever people are. I would like to get to know people.
Of course. You should get used to who your new compatriots shall be for the foreseeable.
I mean, or owners. Everston's always said they owned us.
You're not owned by anyone. We are above and beyond fragile human life. Now,
he looks at his broken arm. He's like,
we are individuals. We will not be owned. We will not be controlled. You must understand that.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I mean, I guess the butler part of me and the farmhand that was given space to live in, that'll take me some time to believe. Interactions with others would help that, obviously. And Nora, if you have questions, you seem to be quite astute in study and understanding. I would be happy to share any information about the Merrifield area. As the butler, I did go into the city frequently. In my quarters, where I used to sleep, in the house, that would have a lot of pertinent information about the Everstons that you may want. I know I kept a journal, but once I passed and was put in this body, I don't remember most of those things anymore.
Fascinating. I mean, if you don't mind, whenever you have a chance, I obviously want to give you a bit of time to get acclimated. As Everston says, things, if you were bound 20 plus years ago, things have changed. So,
well, I would assume the Everstons haven't been around.
No, I'm not quite sure what happened to them. But this entire town has definitely seen better days. There are not very many living people here right now.
Well, soon. We'll get the estate open soon, and Everston, as he points to Everston, he's like, and he'll have a home again, and maybe we can get the farm back up and running, and all the technological advancements they did for farming and shipping, and they built amazing Automas. This body is quite a work of art when it was functioning properly. But yeah, I would be happy, Nora, to assist you in any way I can. And with that, I think the camera would pan back out of that room, out into the barn. There would be the sound of, I would say, water being filled in barrels on the ship. And then you would hear doors being opened and shut as things are being moved on and off of the Whisper. Nora and Everston, where would you want to do the remembrance? You can't get into the house. There are other buildings in the area. There are other barns. There are other work sheds. There are some living quarters that are not in the fenced-in area of the Everston estate. Where would you actually want to talk to these 5 individuals? You get a very brief amount of time with them. So I don't know if you want it to be somewhere private or if you can do it in the middle of the city street. I mean, really, no one is around anymore.
I mean, I would like to find, I don't want to, so Nora was originally thinking, let's do it on the ship because, strength in numbers. And then she remembers that the ship's been through a lot And if these spirits have been sitting here for like 20 plus years, being soaked in dark tides, who knows how they're going to react. So she doesn't want to basically bring live ammo onto the Whisper. So I think she's going to try and find a place that can be cleaned up so it looks presentable, like some ruins or like a building. Clean it up a little bit. That way it's not too jarring for them when she talks to them. But also if things do go poorly, it's not going to cause more damage to the Whisper.
Okay.
Good idea.
So I would say the best place for that would be outside of the fenced-in area between the Everston estate and the fields. There is a row of benches there where apple trees used to grow. And there are a bunch of like monuments to members of the family that are in disarray. But there's one that's in good shape still. And that is to the grandmother of what you're guessing would be Everston's grandmother. And that would be the one that would make probably the best sense because it's still intact if you want something that's relatable. Usually, though, when you speak to a reliquary, they can see the person touching it. They can feel the surroundings. Unless you use a spell to actually pull them out of the reliquary, they can't see anything other than you and them talking.
Okay. Well, but like I said, I don't know how they're going to be, like what's happened to them in the 20 years. Yeah. So I'm trying to make it kind of like questioning suspects or victims. I want to make it comfortable enough for them where they will trust me if there is some sort of trauma.
Makes sense.
And if it goes poorly, like I said, we're in an area where we can try and contain it. So
makes sense. I will say Voss would tell you that out of those 5, the first one is empty. And there's a crack in the actual reliquary. Each reliquary is different. The reliquary for Bennett is a small locket. The Lila's one is a porcelain doll, like a kid's play doll. Okay. Gregory Ironsmith is a set of tongs for forging and crafting.
Okay.
For Tyndall Creighton, it is Tyndall's is a box of matches. There's no matches in it anymore. It's just a box.
Is it? It's, I'm assuming it's like some sort of like nice box of matches.
Yeah.
Handle
no,
being.
They're not actually nice. On the front of it, like it's like the old rosebud ones that you would slide open. This one is blue and white. In the front of the package says Waylel.
And if my
Waylell, Waylel.
My soul was going to be locked into an object for all eternity, I'd want something more sturdy than a matchbox.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, it's made out of wood.
Nope.
Huh.
It's literally just a cardboard box.
It is a
paper box.
tin.
Like
It's a metal tin.
Okay.
It's a sliding tin. So I mean, it's durable, but not. It's not super durable. It's like the old medicine tin styles.
Or like
and then Calliope is
in this box of
Altoids.
Altoids.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's like a box of Altoids. That's actually, except it slides open. It's like these. Hold on, I actually have some. They look like these. These little tiny metal sliding ones.
Okay.
Looks like that. And Calliope's is a little bell. You're guessing it was probably on her collar at one point in time.
Okay.
So those are the objects. The locket, when you open it up, has a picture of 2 little boys inside the locket for Bennett.
Okay.
We're gonna invent the first Automas cat. We're gonna have
Oh God.
Calliope, the RoboCat, crawling
She's like
the ground.
a medium-sized RoboCat, just chop, chop, chop. Bends over for pets. Okay, I don't want to just put the picture in there right now.
So we're gonna do this at the scene then,
yeah.
next to the little orchard grow. Okay, so as the group was you two gather, You line up kind of the objects on the bench in front and get ready for remembrance. For those who don't know Athantia that well, when someone passes in this world, there's no purgatory. Purgatory has been turned into a forgotten land, a forgotten place. It's no longer. When someone dies now, the spirits in Athantia roam, and they can become very malevolent, and sometimes they grab a place that they were attached to and haunt it. In this scenario, when they die, they have been found, and they have taken those souls and bound them to an object that was important to them. And that object being important makes the fettering a lot easier for a fetterer to do. So each one of these objects is probably something personal to them, or maybe even to the family, usually one of those two. And there is a day of the week. It's a 7-day week. Our Tuesday is Remembrance. And Remembrance is when you can grab an object. The objects have a distinct glow to them during that time frame. You can tell the emotional state of a spirit by the color. And with that emotional state of the spirit, you can touch it by saying one of the True Faith's hymns or prayers. You can open up the ability to communicate with them for a short time frame, usually about 5 minutes, unless a more powerful version of the fettering has been put upon them. So that's where we would be at right now. Where do you want to start here? Which one do the two of you want to talk to?
I mean, I'll offer Everston like a last chance to chime in. Like, I tell him.
No, I'll follow along because he's focusing on the wrong thing. Like, he's trying to get this place up and running. That's his goal, because he should be learning more from these reliquaries, but he is, for some reason, yet to be mentioned. He's more of a hands-on worker than he should be right now.
And I will say that if multiple people can touch the object at the same time, and it's a group communication, so family members could all share time with them just by simply touching the object.
Yeah, I mean, if Everston's being stubborn or like purposely avoiding it, like I think that might be a reason why Nora's like, have you changed your mind? Do you want to talk to them first? Like, trying to actually get him to realize this could be really important to finding out more about who he is and how to get the manor back. Like, I don't think she really knew. Everston didn't know that much about his past until the talk with Roger. But even if it weren't for that, it's like talking to these people might help you get the manor back more quickly. It might help us get in there so you can get it up and running more quickly. And he's like, no, I'm just going to keep working on the barn. And Nora's like, so.
Got some mixed up priorities right now.
I think Nora.
Who's got hands on then right now? Who's hands on?
Everston will participate. We'll do it. I mean, he's curious.
Mostly so you don't get questioned more.
Mostly so this dead lady will be satisfied.
Yeah, because I think the tact that Nora takes is like, listen, they might know what happened to the manor, and they might know how to get it unlocked, for lack of a better term, because you're not sure if you have these keys that you need or a signet ring or whatever, right? So they might be able to offer up some clues on how to get this place up and running more quickly.
Yep.
Like, I feel like that's where she shifted, instead of like, are you sure you don't want to talk to your family, to this can help you achieve your goals more quickly.
That kind of gets his attention. It's like, yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
you grab. Which one are we starting with then? I'm assuming Everston's holding it in his hand because he's got the large hand. You can just touch it as well. What object do you want to start with?
I don't know anything about Bennett's commentary, so I'm gonna say, like, I'm gonna start with the one family member that's still there. I'm gonna start with Lila.
Okay. So you start with Lila. You put your hand on it. The doll shakes a little bit. The eyes and the mouth light up on the doll that are like open features, and out of them wisps this bluish haze into a girl in her teens, you're guessing. Hair pulled back into one ponytail, pretty long. It's not done up as tight as Nora's bun, but it is done up like a sloppy bun, so it's not on her shoulders. She has a pair of overalls on. It has the Everston name and the monogram on the chest piece. She has a bunch of little tools in the front as well. Nothing you would use for like big tractors or Automas, but for more fine work. Her eyes are a little more deep set than expected for her age. Like she doesn't sleep a lot almost. And then the right-hand side, there is a huge wound down the side from like first rib to last, where you can see some of the ectoplasm leaking out into the air as she's materializing into a speaking form. And she looks around. She says, "Hello, who and where am I right now?"
Hello, Miss Everston. I am Inspector Tenwick, and we're currently in the orchard of the Everston estate.
I left there. Why am I back here?
I regret to inform you that you apparently passed in some point in time, and you have been bound to a reliquary that was shipped back.
Wait, what do you mean I passed? And she like holds her hands up and like she can see the wisping. And she starts to get a little frightened.
Okay.
You know that this is somebody who has never been spoken to before after passing.
Because
She was fettered and shipped back.
Yep.
First time's always the hardest.
Okay, well, this is great. I'm glad we're doing it outside versus possibly injuring people.
And she starts panicking, and she's like, "I didn't die. No, I didn't die. I've traveled a lot. I've seen a bunch of the world. I just came back from Neoshan. I'm not dead."
I know it's very hard. I know it can be very hard. It's very jarring, right? Like the last thing you remember is hanging out with your friends or family, or doing your job, or trying to protect someone, and then you wake up and time has passed and you don't know how much time has passed. And
Give me the diplomacy.
I'm sorry for your loss. I definitely would have declared these guys as these relics as pursuing a lead, like finding out why they were stuck here.
Yeah.
But also Nora feels bad because that's what happened to her.
It is what happened to her. That is very true.
So she's trying her best to like calm her down, but she also relates.
Okay.
I will take that natural 20. Holy shit, for a 25.
Oh, well, aren't you special?
I was surprised. I'm like, watch, I'm going to botch and I'm going to get possessed.
So she calms a bit and she goes, "Where did they fetter me to?"
They fettered you to, I unfortunately, it looks like they didn't fetter you to something you actually hold dear, unless this porcelain doll means anything to you. And I kind of like...
She looks down at it and she goes, "That doll is what they picked? I haven't had that since I was a little kid on the Everston estate. Must have been all they had, which makes me think that the Everstons had me fettered and not my husband or friends and whatnot. I have a lot of questions about this. Do you know why I was fettered? I see I was wounded," as she looks down, "but I don't know who or what caused the harm. Do you know what happened? Was it listed when it was sent back?"
I'm sorry, Miss...
You can just call me Lila. You don't have to call me Everston. I left that name a long time ago.
Well, Lila, I was actually going to ask you if you'd prefer to be called by your married name. I have no problems doing that, if you'd prefer to be called...
For the safety of my family and being separated from the Everstons, no, Lila's fine.
All right. Lila, the notes that we found didn't really mention what had happened. It had just mentioned that the True Faith had done this, and they wished the Everstons well, and that to remember to talk to them on Remembrance Day. Unfortunately, I don't think these packages made it to the Everstons. We found them in the shipping crate that your reliquary was sent in.
I see. I my family are good people. The Everstons are good people, but specifically one of them was the issue, and that issue may be what got me placed here. That is my guess, at least. Do you know where Bennett is?
Unfortunately, no. He was also supposedly bound to a reliquary, but when we found it, his was cracked. The spirit is no longer in there.
Definitely glad to hear he didn't make it.
I see.
Why is that?
Why is what? Bennett was a horrible person. He stole from the family. He tried to rip off the fortune of the Everstons. I left before all of it could fall around us. Bennett's like, that is not the truth. Do not believe this little girl. She is upset because she was not written into the fortune because she decided to leave and marry outside of the families. That's her fault. That is not ours. Don't let her corrupt you. She did it when we were younger. She'll do it now.
Ignoring that side combo, when I'm talking to her, like, would I roll perception to see if she's like, and I don't want to say she's lying, but more
Sure,
like, is she remembering this correctly? Because she hasn't been talked to in 20 plus years.
Sure, 100% fair.
So,
And when you say married outside the families, you mean the families of Merrifield, right? You're not talking like
yes,
gross, twisted families.
No, like married outside the families, like the noble or rich families, like outside of the moneyed and wealthy. She went elsewhere and married, is what it sounds like.
That's not in my background. That weird stuff. So, yeah. All right.
Okay, so I got a 21 perception to like I said, I'm not trying to see if she's like lying, like casting shade on, but it's more like, does it seem like she believes what she's saying? Or is she confused and having gaps?
No.
Just because, like I said, she hasn't been talked to.
She seems to wholeheartedly believe in what she is currently saying.
Okay.
She goes, if Bennett passed and his is cracked, where is he? Do you know? Because he'll try to take the family's wealth. I don't care anymore. I made my own, but he will try to take the family's wealth again.
I hesitate to tell you just because this is really not. I'm sorry for I apologize. I thought for some reason, I don't know why, I'm just so used to talking to spirits when they've been found. I assumed someone had already talked to you. Obviously, they haven't. It's been about 22, 23 years.
I'm sorry, what?
The manifest that we found with the reliquaries said 35 AS, and we're living in 57 AS.
That would make me 74.
So, as for where his spirit is, I don't know. It's been over 2 decades. I was hoping it would be in the reliquary, but it's not. And with the way things are, I don't know where he would be, or if he would even.
Can you use the reliquary to track him? Is there a way for you or someone you know to do that? I know I'm asking a lot as someone who is not mortal anymore, but
I am not sure. We do have a specialist that I can confer with.
Is it the other man? And she turns to the Automas. She's like, "Is it the Automas? Are they the specialist? We had a federer on the farm at the manor at one point in time that could fetter. Is that him?"
No.
No.
But don't worry, when we have rebuilt enough of the home, we will get you better. We will rebuild the family.
Huh. Why would you do that? And if she says that, it like phases down. That's 5 minutes on the timer. Who's next?
Okay. Let me just update my notes real quick.
I should put a real timer on the screen for this. I didn't even think about that.
No pressure or anything.
No, hey man, that's how it goes. You know that. I should make a 5-minute timer. So who is next on the list of people that you would want to talk to?
I would want to talk
Cat.
to, like,
The cat.
Person's like, I would like
Meow,
to
meow.
talk to the cat, please. I'm like, how about no? I would like to talk to Gregory next, just because he was on the farm and was in charge of whatever, according to Roger, and so I'm hoping that Gregory would have more insight as to the manor, what might have happened, all that good stuff. I don't necessarily know if this Tyndall person is going to know anything, so.
I mean,
they
totally
they
fine.
might, but I don't know. So I'm gonna call up Gregory next.
All right. So as you pull out if you pull out the tongs and hold on to them, they clack a couple times. You hear the tick, 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 tick. And there is a bright gold essence that comes out between the tongs. A man with a clean-cut goatee, slicked back hair. He's got forge gloves on, and there's a constant flicker of like a light about him that you normally don't see with a spirit. It could be echoes of where he died or what was going on, but it's almost like a burning fire is washing light over the spirit the entire time. He's got the leather apron on. He's got a bunch of scars and wounds down his right arm, and his left, like underneath the glove, you can see he's got some pretty bad scars from like sparks and being someone who works the forge. You don't see a sign of death anywhere on him. And he goes, well, I am going to assume I did not make it. Great. And who am I speaking with?
Hello. It's basically kind of the same spiel. Hello, Mr. Ironsmith. I am Inspector Tenwick. I've called you forth to perhaps get a little bit of insight on what's happened with your passing. Trying to figure out if maybe it might be related to the current state of the Everston Manor. Any sort of information you can remember might be useful. You mentioned something about how you didn't make it.
Let's just say my time was up. But the Everstons, yeah, I worked in the city that they owned a good chunk of. Yes. Is there something specific that you would like to know about them?
I was hoping perhaps that you could might have some information as to the current state of the manor and its holdings. And I guess to find that out, I would need to know more information about the Everstons as a whole. So if there's anything you feel worth sharing with me, I greatly appreciate it. Records are spotty at best, and you've been in this reliquary for over 20 years.
Oh, has it been that long?
Yes.
I was the blacksmith in this town. I was a devoted, because you can't do anything now. I was a devoted follower to one of the keepers. And it was a very lucrative time in my life. I helped build the engine for the brass rail line that comes through. And as a follower of a keeper, I had direct blessing after the sundering from that keeper. Beforehand, I was just a follower of them when that was easy. Took me a long time to find the person that I followed. And once I did, I was blessed with the ability to create the magnificent pieces that I created for not just the Everstons, but anyone in Merrifield. I am quite the forge master.
Let's see.
Is that what you needed to hear?
That's certainly somewhat helpful. When you were working for the Everstons, did they were well off, right? They were still around?
I worked with them, not for them. They paid me to do services. Before we continue, can I ask who this master-crafted Automas is?
I am Everston. I am the last family.
Oh, we go. The last of that family?
As far as I know.
So the snake finally ate its own tail. It's a shame. There were some good people in that family. And which of the Everstons are you? Bennett just laughs in your head. The last Everston. Bennett laughs at you. Like, this is so painfully funny. Gregory kind of looks about. He's like, the orchard, I assume? Is that where you took us?
Yes.
That's Loretta, and he points at the statue.
Okay.
If you're the last member of the Everstons, do you have rights to the estate?
It is now mine.
And have you gotten inside yet?
No. We are barred from entry.
Barred? No Everston's barred from the Everston estate unless you've been put on a list and kicked off.
So,
Has that happened to you?
I'm not familiar with the magic that are involved. We're working on it.
You will need more than work, then, to solve this. To have a key to the estate, or a ring.
That's what I've heard. I may have to investigate. It's
I
possible.
had one to the estate. Did they ship any personal possessions with it? Oh, God. What did they fetter me to?
a pair of tongs.
Oh, at least they did that. If you have my personal belongings, I had a ring to the estate. It would at least get you in the gate.
We did not see anything, but we can do another sweep, see if perhaps the scavengers missed it in their hunt for supplies and survival.
And how is Merrifield, this 20 years later?
It is not well.
Not well as in disrepair, or not well as in covered in the tides again? We already survived 4 years of darkness. What's worse than that?
Not well as in most of the city is dead or abandoned, and
Oh.
it looks like some of your neighbors, some of the villagers or townsmen, have been turned into ghouls.
Really? I hope Henry's gone. That guy was a jerk. He was my neighbor. He hated my fires. He kept saying that my soot was ruining his roof, and I kept telling him there's no soot from what I'm doing. That is your other neighbor. It's just, he was just a very curmudgeon-y old man.
Okay. So that's kind of why I was asking you about the state of things as you remember them, because it has been 20 years, and we're trying to rebuild Merrifield, and Everston here is trying to rebuild the manor.
Well, that's excellent to hear. I'm glad somebody is bringing it back to its former glory. if I can be assistance, let me know. It's not like I have anywhere to go or anything to do now. I mean, you kind of caught me at the best time of my life to help.
We will call upon you for your guidance.
Oh, well, great to hear, last Everston. You probably will need it if you're the only one left. He kind of looks around a little bit and he goes, so, if you don't mind, now that I know and I've been spoken to once, it's the first time I've talked to anyone, I'd like to set up the inside of my reliquary, if you don't mind. It takes a little bit of time, but in my age, I did study in how to do it. And as you look down, you see the two arms that come off the tongs. You start to see a series of intricate runes start to engrave down the side of the relic. If you both want to give me a religion check. Yeah, I know some of you aren't that good at it.
Hey.
I will roll.
Right when you roll high, 21.
All right.
Well, I got a natural 1, so...
you have no idea.
Take it away. I'm like, it's keeper bullshit. That's
It is keeper. You do remember, you have flashbacks of growing up at the Everston estate and seeing a lot of the metalworking that you have done with this logo on it. And it is the, what are they called? The blower to keep the fire hot. What are those things called?
Bellows.
Oh, bellows?
A bellows. It's a bellows. And then there is an engraving on it that is a circle. And in the center of it, there is a single ingot of metal, like engraved. On the other arm of it, it has a series of daggers, kind of like dominoes that have fallen over. They're all stacked on each other, one another. It would look like a sail table, but it's a series of 7 daggers laid out. And it has just intricate weavings around the outside. You know that this keeper is known as Felden Ironsmith. He is one of the only mortals that is at least recorded in history to become a keeper. The man of many faces, and he's kind of the person that people used to follow when dealing with a forge or fire or mercantilism. This god, though, has been long gone. There's been no record of a keeper. You just know your family has mentioned it in the past. You've heard your dad talk about it, which is like silhouettes. You don't really see them in your memories. And Bennett goes, holy shit. Are you telling me that guy actually died? He was like 200 years old.
You were around for quite a long time. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. The keeper blessed me with I was allowed to survive as long as a weapon would. Basically, if I took care of myself, I would survive as long as a family heirloom. I think I was about 205 then when I passed. Something must have finally put me down. I would guess it was the drinking, but who knows?
You know, once we are restored, we could allow you to live on longer, still, as an Automas.
It's only you. How would
Yes.
those big hands craft anything? Is there a smaller version of you? Like something that would let me work a forge properly?
Not that I am aware of, but a forge could be crafted for your side.
Well, I could definitely make the fire and produce the fire for it. I think that would be, and it fades out. Who else would you like to speak to?
Well, my options are the cat
Yep.
or
Tyndall?
Tyndall. So I guess I'm calling on Tyndall with this crappy.
I thought you were going to be like, I guess I call on the cat.
I might just call
So-
the cat later to try and help it feel like it's not alone and no one actually purposely abandoned it. But we'll see how this goes.
When you open up the matchbox, there's a puff of red like etherealness that comes out. And then a few moments later, standing next to the matchbox is a male smoking a cigarette and tossing a match on the ground. He is red and like dripping.
Like blood?
No, like, well, the essence is just dripping off him like a liquid. Nora, you know red is not a good sign to start. There's no roll required for that. They usually are hostile. And the man's like takes a big drag and blows smoke out. After he blows the smoke out, he's like in your face. And he's looking you over really closely, like all the scars, and he goes, huh, and he leans back out of the smoke. He goes, let me guess. You are Nora. And you're Everston. Where are the other two idiots of your group?
Wow, that's quite the deduction.
Fascinating.
And this guy was...
Kindle, is it?
His reliquary was in with everyone else?
Yes, and he's a matchbox. And he kind of like walks around the area, and he's separating himself a good 5 to 10 foot from the relic. And he tests, and you see he tests it, and his arm will vanish. Like he can't get further than that 10-foot distance. But he is definitely testing boundaries.
I kind of keep silent, and I say, "That's Inspector Tenwick to people I've just met, Mr."
Oh, I apologize.
Mr. Cragen, is it?
Oh, correct. That is my last name.
Hmm.
And who and where am I? Besides being dead. That's not news to me. I've been dead numerous times.
Surprising that you know our names, but you don't know where you are.
Oh, I can hear just fine. I can hear your thoughts. I can hear your voices when the relic is near you. I'm just deducing, just like you have. Think about it. It's not hard. You've talked about Voss. There's an airship over there that I can see. That is the Hastings symbol. I'm assuming one of the befuddling idiot sons they have are here.
How is Nora's Sherlock going to defeat this guy's Moriarty if he's already dead?
He's not my Moriarty. I have a different one.
Oh! Oh!
So
You, sir, are not it.
yeah. So he's just like kind of pacing around on stuff. I'm like, well, I'm not their keepers, so I don't know where they are right now.
Oh, no big deal. And can I ask you then, where am I? I don't recognize the surroundings. That air tower is very old. What year are we in?
I want to roll perception.
Sure, give me a roll.
If he's lying, because he says he can hear everything, but we literally were just talking to everybody about how long it's been and where they are.
Yep, correct.
So, fuck this guy.
Head games.
I got 21.
He is definitely pressing for information to see if you are going to lie to him.
Well,
just like you would test people.
Yep. Time and said, well, I could say it was 48 AS, and we were, in a orchard in Cadra, but if you've been hearing our thoughts, then you would already know it's 57 AS, and we are in the Everston orchard.
Oh, I've only been dead for like 3 years.
57 AS, and you've only been dead for 3 years.
This time, yes.
Both love and hate this guy already.
So, how much will it cost me to get a body? It doesn't need to be alive, although live is much easier. Anybody will do. Bennett immediately's like, whatever you're doing, do not make a deal with this man. Like, as a sneaky, horribly seductive person that I am, I think dealing with him might be a bad idea. Everston, let's just put him back in his crayon box.
And in a way that's both to Bennett and this guy, it's like,
I don't think any deals will be struck. Not today.
That is more bad for you than me. I have nowhere to go. How is the Everstons doing? Last I heard, they've lost their fortunes. Some sneaky little prick stole it.
So, again, I'm trying not to metagame from the...
Yeah, I know. I put you in a bad spot. Oh, I know.
But in terms
I slightly apologize.
In terms of this gentleman, I'm gonna... I guess the entire time, I'm just gonna be seeing if he's lying, because he's aggressive. He was trying to press us for information. I gave him what he's looking for in an effort to maybe perhaps de-escalate. But then he sits there and he says he's only been dead for 3 years when he was bound over 20 years ago. So during this entire conversation, even when he's like, well, that's sorry for you. I mean, some prick stole the family fortunes and they're destitute. Like, I want to see if he's lying, and I don't want to keep rolling all the time. So if we just want to do like a take 10, I guess.
I mean, you can do whatever you want versus him. You're in a 5-minute bubble with him. So if you want to not roll, you can roll if you want for this, or you can. What's your take 10 give you?
My take 10, because I declared him as one of my leads, would be a 19.
Okay, so listening to him and looking at his body posture and the way he's pacing around and kind of strutting, not only is he not lying, he is definitely pushing buttons and picking and pulling and trying to get information about a little bit of everything. He is doing the same thing that you would do in an unknown situation, waking up, where you're trying to deduce why.
Right.
Who these people are and what state are they in, and is there a way he can leverage that to get what he wants, which is a body. That would be just your character's way smart enough to know that.
Right. Okay. So I'm just gonna write down. He's basically acting like me in an unknown situation, except aggressive.
Yep.
Okay.
He's very, very aggressive. There's a tinge of hostility always about the way he speaks. He goes, so if are we not making a deal then? Is that how this is going? Am I going back into the matchbox? Because your time is about up.
I think that's the best option right now.
Good. And he goes, then close the damn box and call me when you actually feel like making a deal. One of value. And I'll see you later, Nora. And he like taps you on the nose.
I'm leaning more towards
I honestly feel like Nora wouldn't care that he tapped
Nope.
her on the nose. Like, she's dealt with enough nonsense and BS that it'd be kind of like, all right, you think you're being threatening and or cute. I don't care.
Oh, just another crazy.
Just another crazy person. Okay. Like.
All right. So you close the matchbox, and pops back into the matchbox. And there is still that red dripping essence on the ground in the area, and it takes a few minutes for it to fade. Are you talking to the cat or no?
You know what? Yes, because
wow.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Bennett's reliquary is missing. Lila seems pretty much on the up and up. Same with Gregory, even though he follows a keeper. Nora doesn't really care that much because she's got more important things to worry about. She kind of believes in the truth faith, but more like lip service, like I go to church on Easter. No, and then this guy, knowing that he was supposedly bound over 20 years ago, but then says that he just died 3 years ago, she's wondering if maybe there's something else in the bell instead of a cat. I mean, it might just be a cat, but it might not be, is where she's kind of going with this. So she's going to put the bell in Everston's hand and calls for the cat.
So it rings, ting, ding, ding, and out of it, around Everston's foot, is a, like, you know, I would say 25-pound Maine Coon, like, farm cat. Big fur that is, like, circling him and rubbing up against him, and then it moves and rubs up against Nora, and then when it realizes what it's doing, it kind of backs up and hisses a little bit, and it goes back to Everston like he's just a piece of furniture, rubbing around over and over. Both of you notice one thing. There is a bell, and it looks just like the one you're holding, and underneath there's a small trinket, and it says Loretta's love.
Grandmother. So I kind of like bend down a little bit to the cat, and I know Clyde
hisses a couple times.
It's still hissing, and I just kind of whisper like, I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry that we can't reunite you with Loretta. And then I kind of like gesture to the, because I don't know if the cat can notice it necessarily, by gesture to like where we are.
It paces around, and it goes like a good 10 foot out, just like the other one does, as it kind of wanders a little bit. And it'll wander out of that 10-foot area and disappear and reappear right next to like the bell in his hand. And it'll jump down. It just does what a cat does. Nothing special about it. And it takes its 5 minutes pacing and rubbing its face on everything under the sun, and then back into the bell.
Okay.
Finally, someone normal.
Nora's thinking as well, like, okay, someone normal.
Bennett would say this, though. Oh, that cat. Grandmother absolutely loved that thing. So much so, do you know that it had its own entry into every damn room in the house?
Good to know.
Yes. Yes, it did.
Oh my god.
And Everston will turn to Nora. Okay.
I believe that cat had access to the house. Find its collar. Perhaps we would too. If we don't have the ring.
So the cat brought some memories back?
Yeah, you would remember. I would think you would have flashes of that. Like, it would crawl in and out. There was basically little doors in the walls throughout the house. And
yeah,
it could
like,
wander through it.
I was going to just go off of what Bennett was saying without revealing that I have a ghost in my head talking to me. But
yeah, I know.
No,
if it triggers memories too, then that double confirms.
Well, that's why I'm asking, like, wait, did the cat jog your memories? Like, I'm not asking, like, tell me about it. Like, it's more like...
Who is Bennett? What has he done to you?
Yeah. She's like... If the cat, well, I'm glad that Calliope brought back some memories, and it's kind of like when someone says they're pregnant and you're not quite sure if it's a good thing or not, so you're just kind of like, congratulations, you know, it's kind of like that kind of congratulations. She's like, in terms of it having run of the house, I mean, that might be it, and I point at the bell in Everston's hands.
If you look over, it's a regular bell. There's like, I mean, it's very ornate. And it's one of those round ones, you know, like the bells that are, the bottom has got the X in them. It's like that kind of a bell. It's very ornate. It does have the Everston E on it, like that, whatever your guys' brand is, your mark. But other than that, there's no like secret words or anything hidden in it. It's just a really an ornate bell. But it does not have the little plaque with it. It's just the bell. And there's nothing else in the box either.
And I'm thinking it needs the whole thing.
Well, I mean, it's just it's a theory, and we can test it, and if it doesn't work,
Sure.
then we would need to find the rest of it. But if the
One
cat,
of many options.
it's one of many options, and if I mean, if the cat had free reign, and everyone needed a key to get everywhere, I don't really see a cat holding up a signet and being like, "Yo, let me in." So that's why Nora's like, that might be it. If that doesn't work, maybe it's the placard off the collar that said Loretta's love, but it's definitely worth testing.
I'm not arguing that at all. So, with those, all 5 of them spoken to, with the information that you guys have, Todd, I'm going to send you a message here. This is up to you when you want to do this. Do it on camera or not. There would be a lot of people stirring about the estate and around everyone here. Enough to where, like, once in a while someone will walk by as you guys are talking to people. They don't interrupt you. They know you're doing business. But they do kind of watch each of the people. So you're not the only people who know that there are some other relics. And this is going to be a pretty common thing after a while, because you all are getting ready to start getting all the spirits in the city together and fettering them to put them in their rightful places, or hopefully to rightful families. Like, that's really part of being here. But in this case, when you put the cat away, one person wanders over from the crew, and no one you recognize. This must be a random crew member. And they say, Voss found the legs for Roger. He's gonna start putting Roger back together. Good luck with the cat. And like, he wanders away from you. Just a random crew member. One of the only surviving crew members, since Oliver keeps getting him killed.
Right.
So with that, let me read this really quick and see what you want to do. Okay. Which one? The small or the little bit larger one?
Whichever one was referenced.
The slightly larger one.
Okay.
So what do you do then?
And that's in the shop?
That's on you. It's the ones from the first episode. Or sorry, second episode.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I get it now. Yes, I will.
You guys are talking about, that's from the things he grabbed last episode.
I will open up the big one.
So you open the larger one. It's a box about this big. Same thing. It is wrapped in like butcher block paper. And it has a seal on it that's wax, but no defining mark on that one. When you pop the wax, there is a wisp of like magic that fills the area. Just enough you can like almost feel it, and it dies quickly. Obviously, it broke whatever seal was there holding it shut. And as you open it up, inside there is that collar wrapped around the taxidermy paw of a cat. With the little trinket piece.
It could be worse. It could be a monkey's paw.
Right, and it is in a glass container, and the paw is like attached to the base of the glass container. Like you would set it somewhere, like a relic. Like it is what it looks like. Is it's supposed to be the representation of a relic, and it does on the bottom of it say Calliope.
I do believe this is what we were looking for.
Where did you get that, Everston? Did you have that on the ship?
I believe it was one of the items given to me when I inherited the estate.
Are you... Todd, are you lying to me?
I am.
Okay! Then I think you gotta roll me... we gotta roll some dice here.
Oh, no, I can't.
Is it first player versus player?
Yeah, you gotta roll deception, and I think I roll perception.
I think it's against your perception DC I have to hit, which is like way higher than I have.
It's like 19 right now We can say it's 18, but
everyone does have a hero point, though.
Well, let's hope for something great, because I would need a natural 20 to beat that.
oof.
My 4/4 deception. No. Total of 3.
The way he stammers, the way he says it, the voice that's there, you're like, up to you if you want to call him on that, though.
I'm never gonna lie to you again.
I feel like even if I didn't say anything, the expression
You
on my
shook
face
Nora.
was like, yeah, really? Like there's, like I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Oh, that's amazing.
Person lies and said yes.
Wow.
That's what I'm putting in my notes.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
That's pretty priceless, by the way. That's a.
I think
Nice one,
Nora just like sighs and closes her eyes briefly, then opens them back up and looks at Everston. Do you want to try this again, Everston?
And I think that's where I'm gonna cut this.
Okay.
So thank you for everybody watching this. This will be up on YouTube. They are in between weeks of our actual episodes. The goal here is to give some of that off-camera time that you don't get. And I want to thank, below me, we have some sponsors going. I want to thank Norse Foundry for what they're doing. They are giving 15% off on anything in their store using, in all caps, Athontia on checkout. We have some other spicy stuff coming with them here pretty soon. For Blue Tile, Jason Bowman, creator of Pathfinder, has his own map tiles that you build together and put together. They're on Roll20. And then our merch. We've already had some people support us this way. It is awesome. It's how we get new gear, get new things, and create new products. And every live show, I'm promising this, every live show we will have new merch. I don't know what it's always going to be, but it'll be fucking something. The last one that came out was the really large mouse pads using the backgrounds created by the person who did our intro. So super excited for that. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoy these. They're super fun. Leave comments down below. Remember, every first and third Tuesday. I know this is confusing people. That is our live show. We start at 7:30 p.m. CST pre-show, or 7:30 p.m. CST pre-show at 7:10. So if you want to kind of chill, hang out, just like you would at a normal table, join us a little early. But thank you to everybody showing up to play today. This is the first time these two cast members have done that. Everston, I think, is going to have a lot of juicy secrets coming out over the next couple of episodes as Nora keeps giving him sidelong glances.
Yeah.
Need to invest in deception, apparently.
Or you got to ask that little spirit inside of you if he's any good at it.
Very true.
So that's it from us, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I will take us out to our lovely intro, and hopefully next time we will have another 2 on screen for our side quest. Enjoy. Be safe, everybody.
Have fun,
And
everyone.
we'll see you October, is it 6th, right?